I want to take us back actually to March, when there was a fascinating article in The Atlantic that was titled, "The Nicest Swamp on the Internet." And it was, of course, all about Reddit. If you don't know about Reddit, it's a place where you can find forums and sub-forums on literally anything you're looking for, the most niche things you can find on Reddit. Now, I'm not on it much. I occasionally use it to see what people think about the latest Marvel movie. My wife Tamara goes on the Upper West Side Reddit a lot to see what's going on in the city. And I have a friend who essentially lives by it and will go on it multiple times a day. Now, there's a lot of dark parts to Reddit, a lot of parts you should probably avoid. But apparently it's turned out to be not such a bad place. It turns out that Reddit can be an incredible source of light, source of hope, and strength for many people. And you can find the most niche parts on Reddit. As The Atlantic's Adrian LaFrance writes, there's a subreddit where violinists gently correct one another's bow holds. A subreddit for people who are honest to God allergic to the cold and trade tips which antihistamine regimen works best. And one subreddit is for people who encounter cookie cutters whose shapes they cannot decipher. There's something you want to find, Reddit has it. And this article ends up being a sort of love letter to the platform. It's full of people seeking positive feedback on their art, folks starting new jobs, looking for kudos, people on fertility journeys and grief journeys, seeking embrace and love from complete strangers. And LaFrance ends by writing, "This place is flooded with expertise and genuine wisdom. And it's filthy with rabbit holes. But the only two questions that people ever really ask on Reddit, if you think about it, are these. Am I alone? Am I okay?" And after all these years, in subreddit after subreddit, no matter what the topic at hand is, the same answers keep coming back. You aren't alone, and you might not be okay. But we're here. Now, if we can say this about Reddit, surely we can say this about Torah as well. Every single day, our tradition, God, Torah, is calling out to us saying, "Here I am. I am full of expertise and genuine wisdom. I am the source of life. I'm here to bring you refuge. I'm here to bring you comfort. You aren't alone. You might not always be okay, but I'm here." And in turn, we can reply to Torah, to the depths of our tradition, to God, and say, "Hashivenu anai alecha v'nashuva chadesh yameinu kekedem." God, here we are. Return us to you, and we will be returned. Renew our days of old. Give us refuge, give us grace, give us hope, and give us strength. And when we have our shortcomings, when we mess up intentionally or unintentionally, Torah is there with love. God is there with love. Our tradition reminds us that teshuvah, returning to our best selves, is always possible. Teshuvah is always possible, and this love is unconditional. God always loves us with an everlasting love. Whenever I get angry, I let my ego or frustration get the best of me. Perhaps it's over something trivial or something serious. I'll try breathing and telling myself to calm down. And most of the times, this doesn't work. Then I'll usually remember the words, "Ahavat olam avtanu," you love us with an everlasting love. You, God, love us, love me with an everlasting love. I'm loved no matter how much I let my anger get the best of me. I'm loved by God no matter what shortcomings I may encounter. I'm loved. Now, remembering Ahavat Olam, this everlasting love, is a pretty Jewy thing to do. But for me, remembering God's love is a form of salvation, a rescue from my downfalls. It's a reminder that I'll be okay, and most of my problems are pretty small. In our society, It's normally our Christian neighbors who talk about God's love. And while we sing about it in Hebrew, it's not as commonplace to speak about God's love in Jewish community. The Upper West Side is a little unique space. I think we're doing a good job of that. And God's love is present throughout our liturgy, our holidays, sprinkled throughout our holiest texts. All of us are loved no matter what. And in this week's portion, double portion, Mattot-Mas'ei, we have a kind of ahavat nistara, a hidden love, by way of the arei miklat, the sanctuary cities or the cities of refuge. Both the land of Israel and the encampments just east of the Jordan have been apportioned for the 12 tribes. And then we read in chapter 33. God spoke further to Moses, "Speak to the Israelites and say to them, when you cross the Jordan into the land of Canaan, you shall provide yourselves with places to serve as a city of refuge to which a person who has killed someone unintentionally may flee. The city shall serve you as a refuge from the avenger so that the killer may not die unless he has stood trial before the assembly. The towns that you thus assign shall be 6 cities of refuge in all. 3 cities shall be designated beyond the Jordan, and the other 3 shall be designated in the land of Canaan. They shall serve as cities of refuge. These 6 cities shall serve the Israelites and the resident strangers among them for refuge, so that any person who slays unintentionally may flee." Our Torah then details several cases in which somebody who intentionally killed somebody will be killed themselves. But the one who accidentally killed, who accidentally took a life, shall remain in the city of refuge until the high priest dies and a new one takes over. Thank you. Time and time again, our Torah tells us how to take care of the most vulnerable in our society. We are commanded to care for the orphan, for the widow, for the stranger, those who lack food, those who lack shelter, and we are told to care for those who accidentally step over the edge and commit the unimaginable. We are given systems to protect those who make a grave mistake. We are not saying that accidental killing is okay. It is a grave sin, but rather than dying themselves, the killer's punishment is a banishment from their place of birth to a city of refuge. How we treat the most vulnerable in our society says a lot about our culture's values. How we treat those who we cast aside says so much about who we are as a people. And today in our society, we are of course not living up to this call. You can pick any given topic. Our immigrant refugees, our neighbors, we are failing them. For our elderly and our veterans, we are failing them. For the hundreds of thousands in the city without homes, without sufficient food, we are failing them. For those incarcerated in our broken system, we are failing them. In a couple of weeks from now, we'll encounter these cities of refuge again in Parashat V'etchanan. We'll read, Az Yavdil Moshe Shlosh Arim Be'ever HaYarden Mizrach Shemesh. Thus Moses set aside the 3 cities on the east side of the Jordan to which a person who has killed someone could escape. One who unwittingly murdered another without having been an enemy in the past, he could flee to one of these cities and live. They are Bezer in the wilderness in the tableland, belonging to the Reubenites, Ramoth in Gilead, belonging to the Gadites, and Golan in Bashan, belonging to Menashites. V'zot haTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Israel. And this is the teaching that Moshe set before the Israelites. And in Parashat V'etchanan, the description of the cities of refuge is next to this famous line, V'zot haTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Israel. The rest of it's in Bamidbar, but there's that part. This is the teaching that Moses set before the Israelites. And our ancient rabbis love this. They love that this is the teaching that Moses set is right next to the sanctuary cities in the text. And Rabbi Yochanan asks in the Talmud, Masechet Makot, he says, how do we know that Torah is a place of refuge? As it says, Bezer in the wilderness. And right next to it, it says, and this is the Torah, V'zot haTorah. Meaning because these 2 sentences are right next to each other, it must mean that Torah is a place of refuge. Rabbi Yochanan continues, but how is this a refuge? It provides refuge from the angel of death. For Rabbi Yochanan, when a person is studying Torah, they are indeed protected. And yes, it may be out of touch with reality to suggest that we will be protected from death if we just open up our Chumashim. That would be wonderful. But we know that Torah actually can really be a lifeline of its own. My community, of which I'm a rabbi based Upper West Side, along with BJ and many other communities on the Upper West Side and throughout New York, are a part of a coalition that visits Rikers Island regularly and seeks criminal justice reform bounded by our Jewish values. And we spend a little bit of time with each visit davening and learning with the Jewish community in custody on Rikers Island. Rikers is a place that is far from a city of refuge. The floor is literally sinking as it's built on top of a garbage dump. The walls can be seen falling apart. There's no temper control. People can be held in custody for years waiting for their trials. And it's a place where too many innocents are cast aside and forgotten about. And yet, the Torah that emanates from this pit is astounding. Torah, God, has truly been a place of refuge for many people on Rikers Island. When I ask folks, what gives you strength? Torah, the rabbis, chaplains on staff, and the Jewish community are amongst the primary answers. Our holy Zohar mystical text teaches that Araita v'kucha brichu u'vnei Yisrael kula achad. Torah, God, and the Jewish people are all the same thing. And for many on Rikers Island, Torah, God, Jewish community is their lifeline. It is their place of refuge. Our ancient rabbis continue on the Arei Miklat, the sanctuary cities. And they teach us that this description of the cities of refuge are actually full of celebration. We learn in Midrash Tanchuma Buber, Az Yavdil Moshe Shalosh Arim. Mahu Az? Lashon Shira. Thus, Moses set aside the 3 sanctuary cities. What does thus or Az mean? It is the language of singing. Who is singing? Perhaps it's the accidental killer who now has a place that will welcome them and protect them from being killed themselves. Perhaps it's Moshe, because he knows what it's like to flee after his anger overtook him and he killed the Egyptian taskmaster. Or perhaps it's the entire Jewish people, overjoyed that such a system exists to protect the vulnerable in their society. For a text written so many millennia ago, these cities of refuge are surely something to be celebrated. In many ways, they seem like more progressive systems than some that we have today. I've seen Torah be a lifeline for those in custody at Rikers Island. Torah was a lifeline for my classmate Leah of blessed memory as she worked tirelessly to live an authentic and observant Jewish life as a trans woman. Torah has been a lifeline for me throughout the years in our fertility journey and holding grief. And Torah may be a lifeline for you. When I say Torah acts as a lifeline, I mean the breath of our tradition. I'm talking about the indescribable sense of divine that permeates our tradition. The idea that Torah, God, and the Jewish people are all the same, that we can draw strength from it all. And it's just as we recite at the end of our Torah service. It's Chaim hi l'machazikim ba b'tom cheya me'ushar. She is a tree of life to those who cling to her, and all who grasp her are happy. She is a source of goodness that emanates. Torah is a place of refuge, of hope, of connection. But we just have to choose to be a part of that love, of that goodness. Now, never mind that Rosh Hashanah is just over 8 weeks away. We always need reminders that God loves us with an unending love, no matter what life throws at us. We are still loved. I want to end with the words of Rabbi Bachya, ready in medieval Spain, who teaches both Torah and the cities of refuge save people's lives. But Torah is far more powerful than these cities. Whereas the cities only protect somebody who accidentally brought sin upon themselves, Torah protects us from sins committed both accidentally and intentionally. Torah is the life force that we come back to again and again and again. The Israelites asked Moshe, if the Arei Miklat, if the cities of refuge cease to exist, to where will we flee? And Moshe answers, to Torah. As it says, V'zot HaTorah, this is the Torah. And further it's written, It's chaim hi machazikim ba v'tomchei me'ushar. She's a tree of life to all those who cling to her, and to all who grasp her are happy. To recognize the love and the beauty that Torah, God, Jewish peoplehood provides all of us. And with every moment in which we lose our cool, when we're not living up to our highest ideals, may we engage in true teshuvah, full repentance, reflection, making amends, seeking change. And may we remember that we are not alone. We may not always be okay, but we are here. Torah is here with an everlasting love and a beautiful love as well. Shabbat Shalom.